Hi guys, in today's video I'm going to talk about my top 4 ways to bust through a fat loss plateau. So as I mentioned on so many of my previous videos, Facebook page, Twitter, etc. The goal of fat loss, you need to be in a net energy deficit. So that essentially means you need to be expending more calories than you're consuming. This is just the basic foundation of fat loss. So therefore one of the easiest ways to lose body fat is just essentially just to decrease calories. So it's very important we realise that not all calories are created equal. Protein, carbohydrate, fats will respond differently in the body. So the foundation should always be protein should be set. So I've mentioned this previous times, so 2.5 to 3.1 grams of protein per kilogram of body is a very ballpark figure, and you'll see other coaches recommend like slightly different ratios. The reality is just get sufficient protein in. The differences are going to be marginal. I'd say the majority of coaches I speak to, probably the minimum would be 2 grams per kilogram of body weight. So that will more than likely be sufficient. From there, the net deficit is obviously going to come from carbohydrates and fats, which tend to just come down to preference. So essentially, so once protein's set, it's more about making the deficit from the remaining calories. So from carbohydrates and fats, whichever you prefer. If you prefer a higher carbohydrate intake, which is my preference for myself and a lot of my clients, because this will help maintain performance in the gym, which will help maintain strength and therefore help with lean mass retention. However, there's several people that do very well on lower carbohydrate intakes, higher fat intakes, which I've got some clients very much like that as well. So it's all a trial and error process. The reality is you need to be in a net caloric deficit. So once protein is set, decrease calories, and the best way to start in my opinion is anywhere around a 10% drop in calories, okay? So therefore if you're already consuming a larger caloric intake, a 10% drop is going to be larger than say a female consuming much less calories. 10% drop is going to be less. The reason why percentages are useful with the decreases in calories is because, just say for instance if I said drop by 500 calories, for someone who's already consuming 4,000 calories, say someone who's at the end of their bulking phase, not going to be a significant drop. However, a female who's, I don't know, just say for instance they're on 1,500 calories and you drop by 5, and that's a big drop. So the percentages for the drops in calories is a very useful tool. Second thing, increase expenditure. Increase the amount of calories you're burning by doing activity. So the foundation of your training, of your goals, lean mass retention, decrease in body fat should be weight training. So that should already be in place. That's already plugged in. Now when I'm talking about increasing expenditure, I'm talking about additional activity. So cardio, it could be lifts, so low intensity steady state, so walking. It could be high intensity interval training, so which is called HIIT, which is essentially short burst of intense activity followed by rest. Third thing, a refeed day. So this is kind of contrary to popular belief, and the reality is short term you're not going to lose body fat this way. However, the kind of physiological adaptations from this refeed will help with fat loss further down the road. So high carbohydrate refeed, essentially bringing your total calories, total carb allotment back to say maintenance, or where your kind of off season kind of gaining phase calories are, and then you're going to drop back to your fat loss calories essentially. So the reason for this, a couple of reasons, can help to restore a hormone called leptin. It can essentially give you a metabolic rate a boost. It can help with kind of replenishing glycogen, which therefore will help you in the gym again, and then from there you go back to your normal caloric intake. You should be in a better position to start burning body fat again. Fourth thing, a diet break. So if you haven't already read one of all of Lyle McDonald's work, he talks about a diet break, which is essentially kind of 2 to 3 weeks, could be longer, could be shorter, where you bring your calories back to maintenance, and essentially this is kind of the same as the refeed, more of a physiological adaptation. So leptin comes up, metabolic rate comes up, but also psychologically just having that break from being in a prolonged net energy deficit. It can be quite draining both physiologically and psychologically. So having that break for kind of 2 to 3 weeks and then you're going to go back to the dieting phase again. You'll be surprised how well that works, because you're kind of focusing on trying to prolong that fat loss over a greater period of time. So even though it may be slower in the short term, long term is a very useful tool. So I hope you found that useful. These are my top 4 ways to bust through a fat loss plateau. So let's go through them again. So decrease calories, 1. 2, increase expenditure through cardio. 3, high carbohydrate refeed day. And 4, a diet break. So those are useful tools, and as always the context is always going to depend when to use them. If you've liked the video, please like it, subscribe to the channel because I've got lots more content coming. Thank you very much, have a good day.